And the latest damage estimates from the quake and the aftershocks total more than $117 million. 9,000 homes have been ruined, 14,000 businesses destroyed. In Whittier, the hardest hit area, the Salvation Army Community Center, and 35 other buildings were condemned today. Another shock would have demolished the community center, so the city is going to do it first. And it'll take more than $1 million to rebuild it. There was no insurance. Now, damage is still being sized up in St. Gabriel. The Civic Auditorium suffered structural damage estimated at more than $750,000. This morning, more of the auditorium's exterior toppled over. And demolition of this will begin later in the week while crews clear away the debris. City officials launching a fundraising campaign to help finance the restoration. They plan to sell bricks from the demolished building as mementos of the day the ground shook and destroyed part of their city, but not their spirit. Kelly?
And meantime, Governor Duke Majan is calling on President Reagan to help California quake victims with federal funds. Today, the governor declared L.A. and Orange counties disaster areas. However, are we going to get hit with another quake? That, of course, is the burning question. And as Channel 4's Phil Schuman reports, he's up in the newsroom, that is anybody's guess, right, Phil?
Well, the answer is we just don't know, unfortunately. You know, the scientists would certainly like to be able to accurately predict earthquakes. Unfortunately, they cannot, mainly because all of this activity is happening 7 to 8 miles beneath the Earth's surface. About the best the scientists can do is quote probabilities. What's likely to happen? Scientists said it was likely there would be severe aftershocks, and they were right about that. This 5.5 jolt early Sunday was the strongest. But there have in fact been 25 aftershocks measuring at least 3.0. The latest, around dinner time tonight, measured 3.2 at Caltech. But whether there will be more, or how many more, or how strong, well, the experts just can't be too specific.
I think the only thing we can say is that it's certain that we'll have a few more 3s and 4s over the next few weeks. It's unlikely, but still possible to have another 5.
It's a 3.5 on the Yogi scale.
While scientists try to learn more about predicting quakes, these Whittier school children were trying to learn more about surviving them in the mobile earthquake simulator.
I learned that if we stay calm and don't get out the house.
And the Department of Water and Power says it came through the quake and shocks well. Only 10 to 15% of its customers suffering brief power outages. Meantime, the gas company continues to be busy, answering more than 600 service calls in Whittier alone since yesterday.
The majority of those were caused by customers turning off their gas meters unnecessarily. We suggest that they do not turn them off unless they smell gas or they really feel some damage has occurred.
Okay, now Governor Duke Majan says he's also considering calling for a special session of the state legislature to try and vote in more money for quake aid that would supplement the federal aid he's already asked for from President Reagan. Keith, Kelly?
All right, thank you for that, Phil. And the physical damage from the earthquakes is obvious. The emotional damage is not so apparent, especially when it is suffered by children. Many of them terrified, obviously, by what happened and anxious about what might happen, trying hard to hide their fears. So now some teachers are stepping in to help them. Drawings like these of last week's earthquake were made by first graders at the 2nd Street School in Los Angeles. Their teacher, Sarah Thomas, urged her students to express their feelings about the earthquake, express them in words and pictures.
The first thing I noticed was, well, nothing happened. And then as you talk to them and get into it, well, lots happened.
But it's not just the quake that is making things difficult. Today's temperatures sizzling again in the schools in San Fernando Valley. It topped 100 degrees. Tough for everybody, including the kids in Irene Seeger's Van Nuys classroom. The last 2 days there have been brutal.
When you teach a lesson and you want them to participate, and it's hard to get a response a lot of the time because they're so tired and they're not feeling well and their heads are on the desk and so on.
I can't concentrate because it's so hot and I don't feel good when it's real hot, especially after lunch.
Boy, I think she was talking for all of us. There is some encouraging news. Mr. Coleman says it will not be as warm tomorrow. His forecast coming up a little bit later on. Kelly?
Well, we can bet on this one. It is going to be a hot day in Washington tomorrow. A Senate committee is set to vote on Judge Robert Bork's nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court. Now, this is the first big test for Bork. And in cover story tonight, just tells us that a lot of people are saying Bork is not going to pass this one.
They sure are. The Bork nomination is in even greater peril today with two key Democrats coming out in opposition to Judge Bork.
It seems increasingly likely the nomination will lose on the Senate floor if it comes to that. And it now is virtually certain the Senate Judiciary Committee will urge a no vote. This after committee member Dennis DeConcini of Arizona announced his decision.
I've concluded that Judge Bork is not best for Arizona, this country, or for the Supreme Court.
And that made it 7 of the 14 committee members against Bork. Then late this afternoon, the 8th announced. Majority Leader Robert Byrd urged President Reagan to withdraw the nomination.
I can only say that I will vote, if given the opportunity, to report the nomination unfavorably because I'm convinced that it's doomed. I'm convinced that further delay simply contributes to further divisiveness around the country.
Then 2 more Republicans, Weichert of Connecticut and Chafee of Rhode Island, announced they'll vote against Bork. But will the nomination be withdrawn by President Reagan?
Over my dead body.
And the nominee is not giving up either. Judge Bork was busy this afternoon lobbying various senators seeking their support. California Senator Alan Cranston said today his vote count shows 53 senators against Bork, 42 for him, and 5 still uncommitted.
The nomination will be voted on in committee tomorrow. Only after that can it get to the Senate floor. But it now appears doomed in both venues. Kelly?
All
Steve?
right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jess. There's a lot more ahead on Nightside. The weather's been bad and brush fires have ruined homes and they're spreading, and we'll show you where next.
And take a look at this. Can you believe Fritz will show us where they're digging out from under snow tonight?
Certainly not here. Valerie Harper goes to court over the show that fired her.
And the new Sally Field movie gets a showing in Hollywood tonight. David Sheehan, of course, has seen it in his review coming up after sports.
And coming up on sports, our Freddie, who has a preview here.
All right, Keith and Kel. Now, tonight, NFL player reps are meeting in Chicago. We will tell you what is going on. Also, an Angel relief pitcher underwent 5 hours of surgery today. And since football is back, so are the weekend's greatest hits. We'll show them to you later during the sports.
How do you get this 1750 Collector's Edition Stein absolutely free? Come celebrate opening day of the oak tree season at Santa Anita this Wednesday.
In the last 5 years, pilots for 22 airlines have trained here, and test pilots from one of the top aircraft manufacturers, even pilots for the Federal Aviation Administration. But this is neither a technical training school nor a federal agency. It's Continental Airlines. For 5 decades, Continental has had a rock-solid commitment to performance and safety, and this is just a part of it. The commitment continues, even stronger now.
There is an eye that doesn't rest, the eye of Fidelity, and the vision of Fidelity's Magellan Fund, colossus that towers over the investment world. Over 600,000 of your neighbors put their trust in Fidelity Magellan and prospered with the decade's top-performing equity fund. From discount brokerage through mutual funds. Share the vision. Fidelity Investments.
They have no natural resources. They're the world's #1 steel exporter. We gave them baseball. They taught us teamwork. We love their sushi. We drive their cars. At the rate they're growing, they could own the world. That's why Sam Jameson is in Tokyo for the Los Angeles Times. Because when you live this close to the world, and the world lives this close to you, everything is local news.
Do I have a VCR? Boy, do I have a VCR. I bought this one, but it didn't have remote control. So I bought this one, but the salesman didn't tell me about slow motion. And then I got one in stereo, but it wasn't broadcast.
At Circuit City, our professional sales counselors are trained to ask the right questions, give the right advice, and make sure you get the product that's right for you.
Then I decided to buy a video camera. I should have gone to Circuit City.
Circuit City, the intelligent choice.
The fire report is not good. Firefighters continue battling a fire that has blackened more than 7,200 acres on Palomar Mountain, just north of San Diego County. 3 ranch houses, along with 3 supply buildings, have been lost in the blaze. Nearby orchards and citrus groves are now being threatened. 600 firefighters on the scene here. No word yet on when they will have this one contained, but it's tough. And an update on other fires. 21 acres contained in Riverside County, a 45-acre fire still burning in the Los Padres National Forest.
Well, the weather report is a lot better than that. Thank heaven, Fritz.
Well, most definitely.
Yeah.
We thought it would be a little more gradual decrease in temperature. We're going to jump right down to the mid-80s tomorrow at the Civic Center. It'll feel great.
Oh,
in the
good
valleys,
news.
it'll take a day or two longer to cool off, but we're doing much better. Let's show you what it's like on the other side of the world. Hard to believe this is the same hemisphere we're talking about here. New York State, 10 to 20 inches of snow, and I got to tell you, I hated it and moved out of it, but it looks fine after what we've been through. Kind of an acts of God theme park around here for the last couple of days.
It doesn't really look fine, Fritz.
It doesn't look fine, but it looks a lot easier to deal with because you can't scrape an earthquake off your windshield. A high of 95 and a low 71. Right now at the Civic Center, we're 74, barometric pressure 29.91, humidity 69%, winds out of the southeast at 3. There'll be a penumbral eclipse tomorrow night, meaning a partial eclipse, 6:53 p.m. till 11 p.m. A dusty darkening of the southern side of the moon. Any relationship between the eclipse and the quake and the heat wave and the eclipse? Some experts feel it's just God's real excited about the new Springsteen album.
Oh, really?
There's no connection between any of that. We've had many calls, and rightly so. We can understand that there is no connection between the weather and the eclipse or the earthquake or anything. So don't worry about that. It's just all happening at once. Well, it's going to be rainy and chilly in the Midwest, Mississippi and Ohio Valley, North and Central Mississippi Valley, back up into the northern plains, chilly. As a matter of fact, this cool air allowed Minnesota only to warm up to the 40s, almost early winter stuff. Freeze and frost warnings in effect tonight from Colorado into Nebraska and Kansas. And the only rain in the country tonight, eastern Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, Minnesota and Wisconsin, some light showers to drizzle, no big deal. For us, a cooling trend finally begins, and that is because the high-pressure system over the interior west is beginning to weaken today and shift to the east, allowing the return of an onshore flow. It's a weak one, so it'll cool the coast off tomorrow first, take until probably Wednesday or Thursday to cool off the valleys, but you're going to feel a lot better tomorrow. And look at the overnight lows, and as you do for your area, realize surf is up a little bit, 3 to 5 foot surf generally tomorrow. Smoggy conditions with first stage alerts from the San Gabriel Valley inland. Tomorrow's highs are going to be in the low 90s in the valleys and about 70 along the coast. That's a 20-degree drop in temperature along the coast, and for that reason you could see some dense coastal fog at night only to about a mile inland. Low 68 overnight. Tomorrow, cooler, high of 86 degrees, and then we'll drop down to 80 by Wednesday. We never thought we'd see that again, and it's about time because the air conditioner in my house is starting to wheeze. I mean, the air conditioner doesn't even stop at night. It's been miserable.
Oh, I know. Okay, well, I'll tell you, Fritzy, here's something else plenty hot. The feud continues between actress Valerie Harper and Lorimar Productions. Harper, you've probably heard, was fired from the show Valerie. Well, today she went to court to try to stop Lorimar from using her name in the title if she's not in the show. The new star of the sitcom is Sandy Duncan, and it is now called Valerie's Family. Today, outside the courtroom, Channel 4's Laurel Erickson asked Miss Harper if there's any truth to the charge that she was fired because she was disruptive on the set.
To those folks who say that the reason you're in this bind is because you were too greedy in the first place, you say,
oh, that's clearly a false statement. Please.
On the other side of the issue, Lorimar says it owns the title Valerie forever, and that dropping the name from the title would jeopardize $6 million invested in future syndication. Stay tuned.
Boy, that one's going to go for a while.
And we'll be right on top of it, too.
Of course we will. Coming up on Nightside, Hollywood turns out to get a look at the latest movie from Michael Caine and Sally Field, and we're right on top of that one, too, with our Sheehan, who'll be in with a review.
And we've got sports next. Fred says the fun continues in strike ball, and Fred will show it to us. Sports next.
Come see all the wonders down under with the airline who knows them best, Qantas.
I call Australia home. The only way to travel is Cadillac style. Some people want more, not just a little bit. This is your life and you're the only one who's living it. Let's go, let's live, let's love every mile. The only way to travel is Cadillac style. Cadillac style.
this new rock music, I mean, I don't get it. It's just noise. And that dentist's office music, now that's boring. So I'm dialing around on the radio, and I found a station that I really liked. And guess what? It's country. Boy, have I changed. Boy, has country music changed.
Discover country music now. 93.9 KZLA.
Hello, I'm Teresa Saldana, founder of Victims for Victims. Our organization provides advice, support, companionship, and help to victims of crime and their families. Because of the tremendous demand for our services, we are truly in need of volunteers and other support. Victims for Victims. We're reaching out to help, but we need your help too. Please call and join us. Thank you.
When you taste the diet sensation, you could win a Club Med vacation. The antidote for civilization. This one great taste away. Hey! Diet Pepsi. Club Med vacation.
Enter today to win 1 week Club Med vacations for 2 for the next 6 years.
Enjoy the Diet Pepsi sensation to win a Club Med vacation.
See store displays to win Club Med vacations from Diet Pepsi with 100% NutraSweet.
Well, we've been counting the hours. You know, it's been 14 days, 8 hours and 17 minutes since that strike started, and it's... Well, strike ball is getting popular.
Yeah, it has been a while. Here's what we know about the NFL strike tonight. First off, owners say if the players want to get paid this week, they have to report by Wednesday. Second, Gene Upshaw said today he has been conducting secret negotiations for 3 days but would not elaborate. Third, player reps have been meeting in Chicago for over 4 hours right now. No word on what's going on. They're deciding whether or not to give up on free agency. The owners say if they do give up on free agency, they'll return to the bargaining table. All right, a little over 16,000 at the Meadowlands tonight for the Giants and 49ers game. There's one of the fans on hand. Giants had all kinds of trouble. That's quarterback Jim Crochichia. He wasn't looking when the ball was snapped past him. He ran back, dove on it, and he said, listen, give it to me. I'm the quarterback. Snap it to me. Then the Giants tried to punt. Matt Courtney came through, blocked the punt. Mike Wells picked it up and scored. San Francisco led 17-7. How do you call the plays here? Watch number 7 closely, Mark Stevens. Watch his hand. That's play number 1, everybody. We're going to play number 1. It's out of the wishbone. Number 1 was to Tony Cherry. It didn't work. What are you going to do? These guys were fired up anyway. 49ers won it 41-21. San Francisco now 2-1. Super Bowl champion Giants 0-3. Baseball Angel reliever Donnie Moore, who was on the disabled list twice this season, underwent 5 hours of spinal surgery today to remove a small bone spur. He is in good condition. Of course, we wish him the best. Cards open the National League Championship Series at home tomorrow against the Giants. They worked out today, and the Cards say they have a score to settle.
Playing real well, and they swept us out there, but I think they're going to see a better ball club than the one they swept, and I think we'll give them a real good series.
I think experience may make a difference individually, you know, when you've got players like Tom Herr and Ozzie Smith who've been there before.
Giants also worked out today. They won 7 of 12 between the clubs this year, and they're ready.
Playing the ball game, the game is the game. It always is the same. The pitcher's got to throw it over the plate. If he does, we hit it. If we hit it, they catch it and throw it.
I'm going to play every game as this. It might be the last game we ever play, and I'm going to play the best lineup I can put out there.
All right, now neither Jeffrey Leonard or Chili Davis will start for the Giants tomorrow. Roger Craig will go with left-handed hitting Mike Aldrete and Eddie Milner against right-hander Danny Cox of the Cards. Rick Russell starts for the Giants. We'll have the game here on Channel 4 beginning tomorrow at 5. And one other note, congratulations to Oakland A's slugger Mark McGwire. He and his wife Kathy became parents yesterday. A boy, 9 pounds, 2 ounces, 21 inches long. Another big man. They named him Matthew Ryan. All right, since there was football this weekend, we can bring you the weekend's greatest hits. Nobody hurt in any of these. Keep that in mind. Here we go in the college ranks. Tennessee's Terrence Cleveland trying to make a reception here, drilled by Travis Oliver of Cal. In the pros, Seattle's Grant Bangham was banged on this play by the Dolphins' Mark Irvin, a fitting name for Mr. Bangham. Next, a vicious hit coming up. Sylvester Bird of the Falcons on the pattern, hammered by Dave Edwards of the Steelers. If you're hungry, here's a sandwich. San Diego's Al Williams caught between the Bengals' Chris Barber and Darrell Smith. Finally, the Patriots' Wayne Coffey stopped in his tracks by Cleveland's Alvin Horn. And those are the weekend's greatest hits, some good ones. On hockey note, right winger Mike Bossy of the Islanders, one of the premier players in the game, is going to miss all of the upcoming season to undergo some back therapy. That'll do.
All right, now Gene Upshaw's meeting right now.
They are meeting in Chicago as we speak. If we get an update before we go off the air, we'll report it.
Terrific. Now, if any of these players are going to survive, are they good? Are they making a name for themselves for?
Well, I don't know if they're going to survive, but I'll tell you one thing. Certainly, they're going to continue to play until the real players come back.
Yeah, but even after that, some of them will be all right, maybe.
Maybe. Very few.
Could
maybe.
be this weekend, though, huh, Freddie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Freddie.
Coming up on Nightside, a Hollywood premiere for Sally Field's new movie. David Sheehan, of course, has seen it. He talks to her and rates her movie next.
Slam the door on drugs in our schools. Call 800-541-8787 to find out what works.
There's a clearance at your Chrysler Plymouth store, and it's sending all our new cars out the door. Everything goes. Everything goes.
Hurry in now for the best deals of the year on the new Chrysler LeBaron Coupe. Get financing as low as 1.9% or $750 cash back. And get the 770 protection plan.
Everything goes. Everything goes.
Buy one at your Southern California Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
To even apply to be an apprentice mechanic for Continental Airlines, you've got to have an FAA license. Even when you're accepted, you're in training again. Over 5 decades, we've built a quiet reputation for safety and performance at Continental. That's why this year, 24 major airlines contracted with us to help them do their maintenance. United, Delta, Federal Express, even American. It's a reputation we're proud of, and you can see why.
My dandruff shampoo is good.
Maybe you should try something else. My dandruff shampoo really works.
Maybe you should try something else, like Selsun Blue. Doctors and pharmacists recommend Selsun Blue more than all other leading brands combined. What that means to you is no leading brand gets rid of dandruff better than Selsun Blue. It's #1.
And all Selsun Blue formulas, including extra conditioning and extra medicated, have the ingredient recommended most by doctors.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Burger King introduces a new burger with a genuine Western flavor. The Bullseye Barbecue Burger. 2 flame-broiled burgers on a Western bun with melted cheese, sizzling bacon, and topped with a smoky Western-style barbecue sauce. The Bullseye Barbecue Burger won't be around for long, so get it while you can. You only have to ride as far west as Burger King. The best food for fast times.
Well, the boss told Sheehan to go and cover a premiere tonight, and he said, I surrender, I will. And he went, and, well, this is what, Michael Caine's first opening in a week or so.
That was so clever. If only the movie had been that clever. No, actually, it is that clever in spots. It is called Surrender. That's why that was so clever, you see. And Oscar winners Sally Field and Michael Caine have surrendered their heavyweight acting power to a movie, I'm afraid, that surrenders itself to strictly lightweight romantic comedy. However, thanks to their acting power, the movie does maintain a mildly amusing atmosphere in spite of its total commitment to cuteness at all costs.
I've been taken to the cleaners more times than this shirt.
As a veteran of many property settlements, Michael Caine makes the most of a mostly exaggerated man who fears women character.
I made love to a woman for 2 years.
While Sally Field keeps the frolic afloat as an old-fashioned gold digger with new-fashioned flares for the artsy and the not-so-crafty.
Look, I don't make love before the first date.
It's a comedy that bounces back and forth between the self-consciously cute and the genuinely cute, as he keeps his bank balance success a secret to be sure she loves him for himself alone.
I've always ended up in embarrassing positions with you.
Now, all that may sound slightly confusing, but as Sally Field herself explained tonight, confusion is what it's all about.
It's really about everybody's confusion, men and women, about money and power and sex and love. How do all of these things fit together? And it's actually just a lighthearted piece of entertainment. It's not like a serious look at anything, much less money or power or sex.
Even with all that money, power, and sex, I don't think you're very likely to ever really surrender to surrender. But to at least give in a little bit, all you have to do really is be in the mood for some lighthearted escape. And in this earthquake season, I would imagine there'll be all kinds of people.
People will be thronging to the theater.
Right, it might be perfect timing. It may be a marginal movie, but it could be a major blockbuster because of when it opens.
Yeah, and you can't help liking her, huh? And him, too.
Oh, yeah, they're good.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thanks,
David.
Sure.
And we like you, and that's going to do it for us at 11 o'clock.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
The first step to boating safety is a safe boating course with free instruction provided by the squadron. For information on the next class, contact the United States Power Squadrons.
I drove that car last weekend.
The big Mercedes?
The S-Class.
What'd you think?
I think you have to sit in that big leather seat, put Mozart, maybe Beethoven on the stereo, then go out and drive in tight rush hour traffic up some back mountain road all night in a rainstorm. And then you'll know what I think.
Which is?
I think just maybe I drove the perfect car, or as close to it as anybody's ever come.
You know, we've been at this longer than anybody else and have gotten absolutely nowhere. Look at that. America West. That's flying. What have they got that we haven't got? Well, for one thing, passengers. They've got passengers because they make flying civilized, with assigned seats, the Wall Street Journal, a frequent flyer plan. Their low fares even include drinks. Well, we have one thing they don't have. A convertible. America West.
Tide's been coming in here long before any man came to these shores. But these mighty rocks stand fast, big and strong. Well, that's the kind of strength folks have been counting on for over 100 years with Great Western. You see, Great Western's built on a solid base of over $28 billion in assets and backed by the security of federal insurance. So if you want a bank that'll make your money grow safely, come to Great Western Bank. We'll be standing big and strong, no matter how the tides change.